Good morning. Welcome to the Listen for Life Aphasia podcast. I'm Genevieve, and we have a fun topic today. I have Jess Goulding and Beth Hines joining me today on the show, and we are going to talk about self-care. Self-care, but from the aspect of yoga and how we can incorporate just small things into our daily routine that can really make a difference for stress management, our overall health, our physical health, our mental health, our psychological health. So I hope you will stay tuned, listen to the whole episode. We've got some good takeaways for you to make this all work to your benefit. So without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome to the Listen for Life podcast with Genevieve Richardson. Genevieve is a speech-language pathologist rehabilitating adults with communication challenges after a stroke or due to a neurological impairment. Get equipped with knowledge from experts in the field and professionals you need to know. We'll hear stories and experiences from others who are navigating life with aphasia. So, put your earphones in and take a walk outside. This isn't just a podcast. This is a community, a resource, and a support system. We're in this together. Do life.
Good morning, Jess and Beth. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
This is good morning. Thank you. Yes, thank you for having me as well.
This is fun. So, Jess and Beth, you guys are yoga professionals. I'm not. I would like to be, but I really want to take this conversation and talk about how just small things we can do that are from the aspect of yoga that can really improve someone's physical, mental health, emotional health. And let's give them some tips and tricks on how to get it into their daily routine, which I think we all have these things that we want to do and know that they would be so great for us, but it's the how of incorporating those. So let's get started. Jess, will you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. Thank you. My name is Jess Goulding, and I have been teaching yoga for 20 years now. And I've been practicing yoga therapist for, I think, 7. So to go from teaching yoga, there's different levels like there is in any profession. And at a point in my career, I decided I wanted to focus also on individual needs. And that's what yoga therapy is. So it's an additional 1,000 hours to work one-on-one with people in the realms of really focusing on what they need. So we work a lot with sleep, anxiety, digestion, depression, anything, chronic pain, anything where someone's not feeling their optimal. Then we get to use the tools of yoga and apply them in a personal level, spiritual growth, whatever that person is going for, they get an individualized practice. So that can be 20 minutes. It can also be 3 minutes. It can also be an hour and a half. It's whatever your life will allow. The important thing that we say in yoga is that it is done over a long period of time without interruption and with consistency, which is impossible in just about everything that we do, except breathing. So when we get into a little bit, we're gonna utilize this thing we're doing all the time to help us do a little bit of yoga every day, and it'll just be there for you.
Love that. Love that. And Beth, would you introduce yourself to the audience again? It's been a while since you've been on with me.
Yes, my name is Beth Hines. I am a speech language pathologist and I work for Life Speech Pathology, which is Genevieve's company. I work with patients who have had a stroke or other neurological injury. But I'm also, or I should say, and I am also a yoga practitioner. I started yoga consistently about 10 years ago. And 3 years ago, I went through a yoga training course to get my RYT registered yoga teacher. It was a 200-hour course. So it's really the introductory course for people who would like to learn more about yoga or teach yoga. I really took it because I wanted to learn more about yoga because I love the fun inversions that you can do and twist, but I kept tweaking this and tweaking that. And I said, maybe if I learned how to do it correctly, I wouldn't get hurt so often. So that's what led me to it. From there, I decided, well, now that I have the training, I could teach a little bit. So I have taught a little bit for a nonprofit called Project Yoga here in Cincinnati. And we bring yoga to under-resourced individuals through presenting to groups, a lot of schools, homeless shelters, different organizations, other nonprofits. But I do have a little funny story because Jess said, she's going to teach us about how to make yoga part of our regular practice, and especially for those who are new to yoga. And when I was new to yoga, very new, before 10 years ago. So we are talking about maybe 28 years ago, I took a yoga class. And it was in an office building with windows on all sides, and it was at dusk. And the instructor said, everyone new get in the back and the experienced people get in the front. Well, about halfway through, the sun went down. They never turned on the lights. And all of us in the back were looking at each other like, we don't know what we're doing. And we left. And I was like, oh, I don't like yoga. And then I think it was probably, close to 18 years later, 15 years later, that I took another yoga class. And that class, I probably 18 years later. Anyway, that class, I went chewing gum. And after the class, I had a terrible stomach ache. I was like, well, I don't like yoga again. So then it took another couple of years. I finally went back consistently and was like, I love yoga. Like, that old commercial, wow, I could have had a V8. I was like, wow, if I had only given it a chance that first time and gone a couple times and learned more, I would have loved it like I do now. So for all of you who are just beginning, give it a couple tries and, try a few different teachers or a few different programs, figure out what works for you.
I think your stories are very interesting, Mary Beth, in that anything we want to try, just like Jess said, I actually wrote it down, done over a long period without interruption and consistency.
Which was all the things I didn't do, right?
Right. So Jess, let's get into a little bit about your take on why yoga is so important and why it doesn't have to be this big, scary undertaking. You'd mentioned, 20 minutes, it can be 3 minutes. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yoga has been made into something different here in the West, and it's fine that it's a yoga class. And a lot of times people want to stretch their hamstrings and get stronger, and all of that is well and good. That is important. However, the yoga part is actually the shifting of your state, specifically the state of mind. So in yoga therapy, we do everything according to the Yoga Sutras. So this is the text. This is the text that is laid out. It's an ancient text that is essentially a map of the mind, how to work with the mind and reduce suffering on all layers of your being. So yoga, the definition in the Yoga Sutras, is the cessation, the fluctuations of the mind, or the ability to put your mind in one direction for a sustained amount of time. That is yoga. And so working with yoga, we have to shift our state, or what it does is shift our state from where we usually are, which is an agitated mind, to a more calm and focused mind. Because then once we're there, well, there's so much more that we can do. We can be more of use to others. We can be more connected to ourselves. We can feel like we have more productivity in us because we're not so distracted. We're not getting pulled hither and yon. The thing is, it doesn't take a full asana practice. Asana is what you'll see online. That's when people are doing, poses and things. So that's what often we think of. And that, I will continue to say, is an important piece. The real juice of the yoga, though, is the connection to breath and the settling of the mind. So what yoga does is it changes your state. So that means going from a state of agitation to a state of greater calm, peace, and harmony. It's not uncommon now. You're hearing more and more out in the world. Let's take a deep breath, because every time you do, you're going to shift your state. It helps you arrive. Anytime we can be more embodied, like feel where you are, be where you are, then you are going to be at a calmer place, because you're not racing ahead to the future and you're not ruminating on the past. It is simply what is. This is a human scale. This is this is what you can manage, is where you are right now. We've convinced ourselves we can do a lot more, and we have the technology to do it, but that's part of what causes agitation. So the short little practices, like just taking a deep cleansing breath, begins the process. And we can get more into specifics if you like, but here's the thing. I firmly believe everybody knows what they need, and they just need somebody to validate that for them and tell them to do that more. So everyone has a thing that they like that makes them feel better. Now, whether that is going on their bed and pulling the blankets over their head, or if it's going for a brisk walk, or it is calling a friend, whatever those things are, people are using their innate wisdom to shift their state towards what makes them feel better. That's all. And so in yoga and yoga therapy, we're trying to do more of that. And if you can't do that, then you link with what that is. So you can visualize yourself going for that walk. And because you have done that walk plenty, you will begin to shift your mind to that mindset of how it feels to go on that walk.
Wow.
So when people have time, you have time because you sometimes are sitting still, whether that's in your car or that's, waiting. I love giving practices while people's tea is boiling or coffee is brewing. I have a practice every morning. Every one of my clients does Get a Morning Glow, where we just set the tone for the day, and that can be enough.
I love this, Jess. It's because, as I'm not a practitioner, I've taken a couple of classes, but I'm what you were describing, that traditional Western
Mhm.
interpretation of yoga, which, I couldn't walk for 2 days after I took the yoga class, but I mean, it is what it is, right?
Well,
But I knew that there was much more to it, because you and I have spoken before, and I've seen your website, which is a wonderful resource about yoga and practices and just being healthful and mindful. But what really inspired me was this concept of one word.
mm,
It was in your recent newsletter. And when I read that, it's just this light bulb went off that this could be a starting place for the aphasia community, whether you're the spouse, care partner, or the person with aphasia. This could be the start to something really healthful.
I love that spoke to you. It was something that just kind of occurred to me. So when I send out a newsletter and it's helpful, that's all I want. So thank you
All
for
right. Amen.
thank you for that. So if you're curious about how to do it, it's almost so simple that you're going to go, of course. But
But isn't that why
yeah,
we overcomplicate
yes,
things,
yeah,
right? And so let's not.
yeah.
And the difference is doing it intentionally.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yep, showing up on purpose with that.
Showing up on purpose. That's great.
Yeah. So if we wanted to do it here, we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'll invite you to lean back a little bit. Notice how most of us we lean forward. This is very
Right. We're
yeah,
on.
yeah, it's
Okay,
very
get comfy.
forward projecting. We're leaning in, being good listeners, but it's also kind of future oriented, or it's also good. It does a lot of things to the body. We release our core, and really, when you lean back a little bit and the core wakes up ever so slightly, that's a nice place to be in support of your spine. So when the spine is nice and tall, then you can breathe more deeply. So just for a little practice, I invite you to put your hands on your low belly, just nicely, kindly, like it's
Kindly.
your best friend. Okay, no judging. We just put our hands on our belly and we're happy there. Then, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, then you can close your eyes. Otherwise, some people feel just better looking down to a place that's still. Either way, inhale and feel the breath move into your body. See if you can move your body into your hands down there in the low belly breath. And then as you exhale, draw in a little bit beneath your hand. So you're embodying your breath. So the breath comes in, it's going to fill the chest, the ribs, then down into the bottom hand, feeling your belly expand. And then the exhale, just lovingly, like a little hug, bring that back. Just again, you might already notice there's been a shift. And if not, don't worry. We're in the seat of the witness, so we're just observing.
Mm.
And once you feel that you're just observing, maybe the chatter has dissipated a little bit, then allow it to come to mind one word that makes you feel the way you'd like to feel. Maybe the word is peace. Maybe it is harmony. Maybe it is courageous. Maybe it is love. Maybe it is calm. Whatever that word is, allow that to come to mind. And then we place it on the breath. So as you inhale, think the word. And as you exhale, think that word. And usually I would, set a timer for about a minute, which is about 10 slow breaths. This way we set our intention around the way we'd like to feel. And so for our experience today, I would invite you to just let the eyes open, and maybe you could share a little bit what that did for you.
Mary Beth, you want to start?
I would say I feel calmer. Now, I do have a question. When you think of that word, so I chose love.
Good.
Am I just focusing on the word love, or am I focusing more on like the meaning of love? Because then, like my mind begins to wander. Meaning of love or loving others in my life.
I love this question. And I wish that I had said it in the practice. And that is the feeling. What is the feeling? We're nurturing that feeling. So some people will picture, hearts bubbling through their mind, and that's fine. But yes, if it takes you off into a story, then come back to a sense feeling in your body, because it's an embodiment practice. And as humans in society, most of us are pretty good about being in our heads. Being in the body is a little more challenging. And so thank you for that question. Focus on the feeling of love. So as the word comes up, as you're breathing it, notice how it makes you feel. And then be in that.
Love that. Yeah, great question, Mary Beth. I definitely feel more centered, grounded.
And then
yeah,
how might that color the rest of your day?
gives a sense of control.
Oh, I love that you say sense, because we know.
Sense, right, right. Because, just when you think you've got it figured out, something comes
Sure.
up, right?
Sure.
But that's where for me, I had to do a shift not too long ago, where I've always envisioned myself like the clown at the circus running around spinning all the plates.
Yeah.
You have to keep all the plates spinning. And that doesn't serve me anymore. That sense, that craziness, that out of control feeling, and you're waiting for the plate to drop and shatter. Well, I had to do a lot of shifting on this concept. Why does it have to be a plate that shatters? Why can't it just be a paper plate? Why can't the plate sit on the ground and all I have to do is think about the plates? And just that shift. So I bring that example because what we just did with that, maybe we didn't even go a minute. It gave me back that sense of control.
That you have the plates.
The plates are still there.
Yes.
But it's not life or death anymore. The plate's not going to shatter. It's just, for me, it puts me back in that place where I feel like I've got this. I can shift my attention where I need it to shift.
Beautiful. Yes.
And I I do think about breathing, but not all the time. I think I'm gonna have to put a sticky note right here on my computer.
Notes are so good. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all about habit building. So when
it
when
is.
people are saying, how do I start a practice? My first answer is always, well, first decide if you want one. Some
Ooh,
people think they should have one, and like, if you think you should, but you don't want it, you're not going to do it. So let it go. Go do something else. This is not a requirement of life. This is not, this is an invitation, but it's not a directive. Right?
love that. Invitation versus directive. I'm
Well,
taking
because if you're given a directive, what do you want to do? Do you really want to do that, or do you want to go against it in your little rebellious self? I know myself. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Like, I'll breathe when I want to breathe. Yeah.
right, or I'm not.
Yeah.
Hold my breath. I like
I'm
that.
holding my breath.
Exactly. I don't like forcing yoga on people. I know that it doesn't work. That's what I gave up. Like, when people say, oh, I can't sleep. Would you like some suggestions, or are we just going to are we just venting about not being able to sleep? Both are fine. Both are fine. Until you're ready to do something, you're not going to do it. So just let it go. So first, decide if it's something you want to incorporate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Then
I might add, decide if it's something you want to incorporate now.
yes.
Maybe you want to incorporate it, but maybe now is not the time for whatever reason.
Yeah, it can
Come
be
back.
what a no, but a not now. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think for this kind of work, it's so helpful to tie it to something you're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're already brushing your teeth. I tie a lot to brushing teeth. I assume you brush the teeth. My mentor has a lot of executive types doing their yoga in the bathroom. Like, they are guaranteed a little bit of alone time each day. And that's when they go in and they'll do their breath work or a little bit of stretching. It takes so little to feel better. So little. Breathing is one of the things. So tie it to something else. That took, like you said, less than a minute. That's about how long it takes, to steep your tea. So instead of scrolling, breathe. That's all. There is a saying that I love, which is, if you don't have time to do an hour of yoga, do 2. If you don't have time to do 1 minute of yoga, you're going to need to do 10, because you have just crammed your life too full, outside human scale, right? So if you're hearing this and you're going, yes, well, I don't have time to stop and breathe. Okay, then you need to breathe like 45 times more than the rest of us, because something is out of whack. There might be something that you can change, shift, or let go of. There is something. So you might have to put down the phone. You might have to reduce time on something else, but you're already doing enough, usually. So you can bring this into sitting in traffic, steeping your tea, any number of things. But yeah, it has to become a priority. I recently interviewed one of my own students about why she does yoga. And she says it's because it makes her a better mother, boss, employee, partner, person, community member, because she shifts her state. She comes into a place of calm, to the point where her family is like, you want to like go do a little bit of yoga? Yeah.
Right? They're prompting her.
Yeah. But I know that in this audience, there are a lot of people who are taking care of someone. And so everything is full. And so to be better at that important piece of your work, it comes to the forefront. You being able to breathe is not taking too much time. It's just not. You can breathe.
Mm-hmm. You can breathe better. You
breathe
can do it
You can breathe.
mindfully. Yeah.
Yeah.
With purpose or intention. Whatever
Yeah.
the word is that resonates.
Right.
for
And when
them.
you pause and let that word come up, well, now that's the background RAM. That's the program you're running, is calm, love, courage. That's what's setting the tone of the day, not, oh crap. Right?
Mhm.
It begets itself. So, I think these are things we intrinsically know, but we just need reminders.
We do.
Mhm.
We do. And I can see, Mary Beth, how, when we work with some of our folks, how we could even start with just a little breathing.
Just a little calming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I watch for, Jess, when I'm working with someone, especially if I'm trying to push them and really challenge them, I watch them as if they're a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Meaning you can see, like, just like the pressure starts building in the pressure cooker before it starts to whistle, you can see what's called aphasia stress kind of building.
Mm.
And when I see that building, I know we have to release it. We have
Mhm.
to release it before it gets there, because that puts them out of being they turn into being reactionary and not thinking. And we want in our practice, doing when we're doing therapy, even for speech and language stuff, we need them thinking. We
Mhm.
don't want that automatic. We want purposeful production, if whatever it is we're working on.
Yeah, so imagine if every time you started a session, you're not starting at neutral, you're starting like before you've even begun the car. Yeah,
Yeah,
is that the right metaphor? I don't even know, but like
that's fine.
uh, not halfway up the mountain, but down in the valley of a place of calmness. So
Yeah.
if they walk, anytime we're moving around, we have shifted our nervous system up.
Mhm.
So to downshift a few grades is going to give you that much more space than to create change. So
Yeah.
every time we start with downshifting, then you're going to have a higher window of tolerance to create that change. You're going to get out of that monkey mind, or not even the monkey mind,
Yeah.
really the lizard brain, right? The one that's shifting from
Yes.
sympathetic to parasympathetic. That's all it
That's
is,
right.
right? Another beautiful way to do that is sound. Sound is, and you're working with speech, sound is huge. So we have a practice called Brahmari breath. Brahmari is bees, so it's bees breath, and it's humming. You make these long humming sounds. You do 10 of those, it will calm you down. It stimulates the vagus nerve, which shifts us into rest and digest, which is going to improve sleep, digestion, calm thinking, focus, just by making sound. I know some people's whole yoga therapy is singing in the shower. They've lost touch with their joy. So I'm like, then sing something that makes you happy.
Hum, if you can't get the words out, hum.
Yeah. Humming, and that's fifth chakra. And you are both fifth chakra professionals. This is the chakra are the energy centers in the body. The fifth chakra is in the area of the throat, and it incorporates the jaw, the ears, the mouth, the tops of the shoulders, this whole area. And when you think about what's going on when you're speaking, as you're taking your ideas and trying to put them out in the world. But if the fifth chakra is kind of closed down, or you're having trouble getting the words out for whatever reason, then then there's a buildup, like a blockage. It sounds similar to what you're describing, with things kind of building, building, building. Sound releases that. That's a beautiful release valve to open up fifth chakra and allow the voice, the words, communication to come through smoothly over time. These things take time. So yoga is not one and done pill, like I said, over time, with consistency, without interruption. What it does is it accumulates in your system. So just as we accumulate toxins, we know this, right? In the air, in our food, we take in toxins. Well, we can accumulate good stuff. And so every time you do the good stuff, you're accumulating that in your body, in your mind, and in your whole system, your spirit. You're accumulating good stuff.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accumulate the good stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
I love you're saying that if you don't have an hour to do yoga, then you should do two, and there's time for everything. And I have used some of these breathing and calming exercises with clients during speech therapy, and specifically with this aphasia stress. And I've often thought I should start every session with some calming, but I was like, oh, but there's not really time.
Ah,
And you're right. 30 seconds is not going to hurt anything.
And
So,
I am convinced that it actually makes us more productive and able to do more in less time
mhm.
because the fluctuations and the agitations are not getting in the way. And I should clarify when I say if you don't have an hour to do yoga, do two. It's really, I'm being facetious, but it's to just show, it's to show you a mirror of like, wow, if you don't have 30 seconds to stop and breathe, that should be a red flag. Right. And maybe you have red flags, and sometimes we have to live with red flags, but that is the awareness piece, is that you know you're in a red flag time of life and you can work towards removing the red flags, towards shifting things. But we have to be aware of it first. And when we enter the breath, like you're saying at the beginning, then you're already shifting into a place of more awareness. So everything you do will be more efficient because you're on board, you're in line, you're ready to go. Right? You're not going to have to say things as many times. It's going to go in better. So think
Mhm.
of it as a time saver is to stop and breathe.
Right.
Maybe.
It's worth putting it into practice, starting with my next session.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, and helping our patients return to that state of calm. If they, instead of get to it once they're upset, if we start off in that state of calm, then we're returning to it, which seems a little bit easier, which is important in the session, but most important in life, right? Because they only have so much time with us, and maybe it's an hour, 1, 2, or 3 days a week, or 45 minutes, whatever it is. But the rest of their life is what we're focusing our therapy on affecting,
Yeah.
positively impacting.
Mhm.
So you're hopefully able to teach them awareness too. Like, have you noticed that you are becoming agitated? Just ask, and then they can go, oh. When we're working one-on-one with people, the way we determine where their nervous system is in this, spectrum of agitated to calm is you notice their breath. So if you can train yourself to watch their breathing, if it becomes shallow and up here, that is a sign, okay, we are
Yeah.
up too high. Let's breathe down and just put your hands on your belly and take a deep breath. You do it. You regulating yourself is going to regulate them.
Yeah.
So it's just as important for those working with people who are seeking help that we regulate ourselves. It's just like, parents need to regulate themselves for newborn babies because their nervous systems are putting themselves together according to their nervous system. They're co-regulating. And that's what work with one-on-one is co-regulation. So if you can lean back and breathe and be in your body as the therapist, as the caretaker, then they'll mirror each other. We're human. That's one of the beautiful gifts, is that we're created to be in relationship. And that part of that relationship is we take on each other's pace of breath. It's like there's people that you're hanging around and you just feel like and some people you feel calm and good. Your nervous system is responding to theirs.
Mm.
And like you said, you use the word control. Like you can control yours and influence your whole space around you. This is why yoga changes relationships. It just does. Because if you are different, people will respond to you differently.
Yeah. Makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Jess, you had mentioned, get a morning glow.
Yes, tell us. How do we get a morning glow?
Yes, we always need to glow, right?
Always need to glow.
Besides to touch up your appearance on Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. So during COVID, when everybody was kind of locked down, that experience was different for each person. Mine was a desire to create these little videos. I call them lifestyle videos and lifestyle video shorts. And one of them was the morning routine. So I took the morning routine that I give all my clients and I made a PDF of it so that you can have it on your mirror. And this is where I start with everyone because it will get things moving, like your digestion, and it sets the intention for the day. So this is at jessgoulding.com/yoga-therapy. If you scroll down, it's there on they're on my YouTube page too. But if you want the PDF that goes with it, so you can just be reminded, then you'll get it automatically when you go there. But it starts with a tongue scraper. Tongue scraping is an Ayurvedic practice. Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga. So this is where Ayurveda means essentially to life, right? To elongate your life.
And do you mind spelling that for people who might not be familiar with it?
Ayurveda, Ayurveda.
Ayurveda. Let's see if I got it.
Ayurveda.
Yeah, my spell check is going, what?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pop it up here.
There, beautiful. There it is. That is, that. So in Ayurveda, this is the sister science. So when we work with yoga therapy, this is the wisdom tradition that we pull from to work with digestion and sleep and finding balance and harmony. Tongue scraping is the first thing that we do. It removes that top layer of gunk of your tongue when you first wake up. We don't need to go into a whole thing of what that is. Just know that it's essentially undigested material, whether that's experience or food or emotions. We have to digest everything. We have to digest what's going on around us. We have to digest our situation. Everything is about digestion in Ayurveda. So this is helpful to that. And if you do it every day, you'll start to see there's less and less accumulating. There's that word again, right?
Yeah.
So it's scraping away the toxicity that's left so that we can then accumulate more and more of the good stuff. So you scrape your tongue, getting rid of the gunk. Then using just clean water, we splash our eyes, and you might say, may I see the world clearly today? Or may my eyes be bright and open to what is beautiful, whatever seeing intention you might have. And then nose, like, may I, smell the divine flowers of the world. May I inhale the essence of all that is good in this day. And I give examples on the PDF and in the video. And the mouth, like, may I only speak truth. And then the ears, may I hear what is true. May I hear my calling, whatever that is for you, whether that is just mental or all the way to emotional, rinse there. And that gives you kind of an invisible barrier to the gunk that's going to come in for the day. Everything we take in has to be digested. So now you've already kind of given yourself this blessing and cleansing, and you're going to start your day with such beautiful intention. How did you feel when I was saying those words? Like, aren't you like, yes, I want that?
Yeah. Sounds easy to add in. I need that PDF and sticky on my mirror.
And then from there you drink water. Warm water is great. Warm water with lemon. This gets digestion flowing. And so I encourage people to just gulp, say thank you, gulp, say thank you. And we have clean water that we can drink in the morning, and it comes in and it's getting things going. From there, over time, you'll see that will lead you right into the bathroom to start your day clean, shall we say, right?
Yeah.
Regularity of digestion and elimination is one of the keystones of regularity for the rest of the system.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So breathing, scraping tongue, these things are easy. These things are small, and they make a huge impact.
And they don't cost anything.
No. You can use the edge of a spoon to scrape your tongue.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Some toothbrushes have the scraper on the back of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And if you wanted to get a tongue scraper, they're available at any pharmacy store, pharmacy or online.
Yeah. They're under $5.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a way to start. Yeah.
I love it. Jess, this has been such a great episode. You are so knowledgeable. And Mary Beth, I'm so glad you were here with us, that we can talk about this, put it in the context of aphasia, the aphasia community, because everybody's struggling with something. The care partners overwhelmed, overtaxed, overextended, over fill in the blank, right? But you've given us some real tangible practices that we can all put into place in some simple ways. And Mary Beth, we can do it in therapy, and we can do it in our membership group, the collective, to start each session, because it's about support. It's about starting from that healthy place. I like your mountain and starting down in the valley. So
Mhm.
then maybe we don't get to the pressure cooker or the aphasia stress
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Terrific. Any final thoughts, Jess, that you want to share? And you as well, Mary Beth.
Yeah, it's just been such a pleasure to share these gifts. That like they still excite me, and I've been doing it all this time.
Love that.
But I just have to say that I usually need to tell people that they're doing enough, that they're doing enough, and this is an invitation to be in what they're doing instead of like racing ahead of it. So when you're breathing and you're paying attention, and yes, it's adding a little something, but all it is creating more inner
Mhm.
support for yourself, and do as little or as much as you can. I If some of you are interested in a longer practice, 20 minutes of movement, it is so good and to help with stress,
Yes.
moving the body. It's easy to have a very still body and a very fast mind. And so it can be helpful to move your body, because then your mind can meet you halfway, and then you can bring things down together. I created a course called AMPM, and I'd like to offer to your community. I created a coupon for $5 off. It's a $25 course, but there are 4 practices for you to do first thing in the morning. It's just 20 minutes to get you going. So if you decide that you do have 20 minutes, this you can pull up on your computer and do a 20-minute practice to start your day. And each one has an intention, whether it's good vibes or feeling groovy. So they each have one. And then at the end of the day, there's 20-minute practices to really just soothe your way into a better night's sleep, because stress, it just makes our sleep suffer. So the course is called AMPM, 20 minutes to start and end your day. And if you use the code LIFE24, then you'll get $5 off. And that's in my store. So jessgoulding.com/store, or if you go to my homepage, click courses. But I believe in 20 minutes. I believe in 20 seconds. I believe in whatever you can do.
Love it.
Yeah.
Jess, thank you for doing that. I appreciate your offering that to the community and giving us a coupon code for that. And 20 minutes. What do you think, Mary Beth? Mary Beth, I'm preaching to the choir because I know you do these things. This is me. I'll start with the morning glow routine and see where I
Well,
get.
I do practice yoga on my own. I don't really practice on my own at home as much as I should. I usually go to a yoga studio. So this will help motivate me to practice on my own more. One thing that I really like this for is practicing in community with our care partners and our people with aphasia together. So often therapy tasks, we're trying to get the person with aphasia to do something. This really puts us all on the same page, on the same level, and where we can do something in community together that helps all of us.
I
Just to
love
really set the stage for a calm session and allow our lessons to take more relevance.
love that.
Beautiful.
Thank you, ladies. This was amazing. I got so much out of it. I mean, I wrote 3 pages of notes. I'm going to have to go back and get
I can
notes
come back
from
and
the
we can do more.
transcript. And let's do more of this because I think we could, really help by practicing you walking us through that breathing exercise and thinking about the one word. That was
Mhm.
powerful.
Good.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, we need to do more of it.
Yes, yes, I would love to have this, and it would be really fun to get one of our caregivers or one of our clients with aphasia on as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a couple in mind already, Mary.
Yes.
We'll compare notes. All right, ladies, have a lovely, fabulous week, and may all your
Yeah.
intentions come true. How about
Oh, beautiful. This was such
Namaste.
a day.
that? All right, ladies, take care.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Listen for Life podcast. We hope you feel empowered and supported. Head over to listenforlifepodcast.com to see the show notes with links and information from today's episode. Do you have a topic, a resource to share, or a guest recommendation? Inquiring minds want to know. Let us know in the comments section. Wishing you a fabulous week.